Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to my first ever podcast live. So, man, I'm super excited. This has been something that I've been in the works trying to get done for a while. It's been one of my projects, and I'm finally getting to it. Don't care how this first video is going. All I know is that don't judge me on this first video. Just know that I got a lot of important topics to talk about as time goes on. But this is just the first video, so you guys could get to know a little bit about me. For those that don't know me, my name is Jose Martinez. I am married, 35 years old. I'm a father of three that are mine, and I have two stepdaughters as well. So I would consider that a father of five. But man, the reason why I'm here today making this podcast, which is basically called Rich Off Pain, um, is because just like it sounds, you become rich off your pain. And there's two ways to look at it in regards to court, right? Or personal reasons. But before we get into any of that stuff, like I said, I'm just going to give you guys a little glimpse of what my podcasts are going to be about so that you guys know, what you're going to be listening to. And I think that I have a lot of great people that are going to be coming on, a lot of great topics that we should be discussing as men, fathers, people in relationships as well. But basically, I'm going to be real with you. First episode of Rich Off Pain. It's a podcast that's all about the raw truth of fatherhood, co-parenting, and the battles we face as dads. Being a father, especially in a system that's not built for us, comes with struggles. And I know many of you have gone through that. Courts profit off broken families. And that is how courts get rich off pain, right? Now, we get rich off pain, not in money, but in knowledge, custody wins, personal growth, and proving that fathers truly do matter to our children. Now, you don't know about me, right? But I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been through these issues. I have three children with three different women. It's not the idealistic father figure that I wanted to be in the sense of having multiple kids with multiple women, but it happened. And I still say that no matter what, I still make sure that my kids are still together. They still see each other. I'm still with them. I've been there for them for everything, whether it's school stuff, home stuff, doctor stuff. It doesn't matter. I've always been a part of it. I've made sure that I don't miss a beat when it comes to my kids, and that's just the type of father that I've always wanted to be. But what I also want to discuss was that since I've gone through those type of issues between custody battles and co-parenting with a difficult ex, learning the legal system on my own, and most importantly, never giving up on my kids, which is the most important thing that you want to do, is not give up on those kids because they truly do need you and want you. And that's what this podcast is all about. Fighting, learning about how to fight for your rights, learning the system, leveling up as a father, and making sure our kids get the best version of us. Because I'm going to say this, as a father, you want to set that example for your son to be the best man that he can be. And for your daughter, you want to show your daughter what type of man is a good man. And they go by their fathers. So if a father's not there, then a woman doesn't, a child, or a little girl is not going to have that vision of what a great man is or what a good man should be. And that's important because that's why I'm going to be doing whatever I have to do to make sure that my daughter understands how she should be treated, but also how she should be treating others. And that's fairly, with respect, and holding people accountable, which is what we all need to be doing. Now, if you're a father that has been fighting for your time with your kids, you're a dad looking to grow, or just someone who wants to hear the real side of this journey, then this is for you. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and let's talk about what it really means to be rich off pain. So, to get into this, I want you guys to understand the moment fatherhood became important to me. Now, I will say this: I was raised by my mother, my stepfather since the age of one, and I have a father as well who was not as involved but was involved, if that makes sense to some of you guys. So growing up, I've always loved having a male role model, whether it's my father or stepfather. I've learned many things from both of those men. No matter what role they played in my life, at the end of the day, I appreciate both because at the end of the day, that's all you can really do is appreciate what you learned. Because whatever I learned from them is what makes me a better father today. Because I took the good things, but I also learned from the bad and changed those to make sure that my kids get the better version of myself and what fatherhood should be like. But in reality, the most biggest impactful moment of my life um that showed me that fatherhood was important to me was when I had my first son. When I found out that his mother was pregnant, the only thing I can think about is what type of father am I gonna be? We gonna have this family. I gotta take care of my son. I gotta make sure, I already had my own apartment, my own car, I had a job, so I was just all set there. But in reality, that's not all you need to be a father. You also need to have a good relationship with the mother of your child, and you know, being young, and I say both immature at the time, things separated and didn't go the way that we intended it to go. So, I get it when it comes to having your first child. That's when really things start to hit you because, well, it should. And if it doesn't, then you got to get a reality check. You are not meant to be a father. You shouldn't be having kids if you don't care about your kids. But in reality, when it comes to fatherhood, it was important because it's the feelings, the emotions, the hopes and dreams that come along with being a father. They all hit you all at once you have that child in your arms. Or even when you start knowing that somebody, you have your girlfriend pregnant or your wife pregnant, and you're about to have a child in your hands that is a part of you. And that's something that's very emotional for some men. You start thinking about the type of child you want to raise, and that's another thing you really start thinking about. I always want my kids to grow up to be good people, honest people, helpful people, loving, caring people. I always want them to understand that they do have a voice where they can speak their mind and they don't have to lie. They can always be honest and understand that there's consequences to your actions, especially if they're bad. um but also as a father, you want to be that role model for them. Everything you do, everything you say will shape who they become. And I make sure that for me and my kids, that I want to set the best example for my kids because I want them to be good. I want them to have a better life than I did. And I want to give them a fighting chance, right? To be better than me. But the hardest times come when parents separate. I always say that sometimes, when you first get with someone, the first thing you think about is, oh, the I'm with this person. Okay, we're together. We have a child. We want to get married and buy a house together. The white picket fence, and that's all a facade and a dream sometimes because there's more to it than just the vision. You have to really work, communicate. The love, the communication, the struggles, how you deal with those struggles when you guys have them. There's many different things that can take place that can really change the dynamics of a relationship. So it's really important. But that's like really one of the hardest times is when parents separate. Not only for the kid, right? Because now they don't get to see both parents, but it's also hurts you as a parent because now you can't see your kid all the time, especially more when it comes to fathers, because in most states, right, we can agree that they usually tend to give full custody to the mom unless you're married and unless you fight for your rights, of course, to get your 50-50, or whatever, you fight for in regards to your children. um as I said, no father dreams of being without their kids every day. What hurt the most throughout my journeys of the past 8+ years is not being with them every day, but also having to fight for my children, having to prove myself to people that don't matter, like a judge and attorneys and DCF workers and other people's family members that don't matter. because someone was telling lies about me, or creating this false image of me to others, so that I can look like a bad person and they can look like a victim, or that I was abusive, and I was just doing the things that I shouldn't have been doing. But at the end of the day, receipts prove everything, right? That's why we keep them. And I will say that the reason why I fight for my children is because I want what's best for them, and I know that I can provide what's best for them at all times. No matter whether I'm with the moms or not, I still don't speak bad or ill of them, because that's not my job. My job is to be a father, make sure my kids are good, make sure they're being raised well on my end, and make sure that I'm responsible for them. And that's what I'm always gonna do and always will do. Um, Now, another hard thing in regards to this is fighting against a narcissistic co-parent. Um, I think that that's my most difficult task. I think anybody who deals with a narcissistic co-parent, get ready, strap up, get your seatbelt on, and put your helmet on, because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. Every single way, shape, or form, it's a very difficult thing to deal with. But I've dealt with it, and I'm still dealing with it. And that person just more wants, let's say, control. This person has tried to ruin my image as a professional. She's tried to ruin my relationships with whoever she could manipulate in my life, whether it's friends, family members, relationships that I'm currently in or was in, etc. Even the relationship with my own child. So these are things that are very scary but very dangerous. But also, once you know about it, you can at least get yourself prepared and educate yourself on how to deal with a person like that. Um, I've been in and out of court for over 8 years, as I said before, just fighting to be a father, just to be involved. All I ever wanted was equal parenting. That's all I've ever asked for. I've been denied it, um, by the mother of the children, right? At a certain point in time, which had led me to just fight, because I wasn't going to just stay there with my hands folded. I have to fight for my kids. They have to know that daddy's going to be there, and daddy's going to do whatever it takes to be in their life. Um, but I'll be real with you. The system made me feel like I had to prove myself, even when I was already doing what a father is supposed to do. And it was hard, because when you're facing a narcissistic person, they like to flip things, they like to shift blame, they never take accountability for their actions. Everything's a you're the problem. It's never them. And unfortunately, when you start to catch on to patterns, you'll start to realize who the problem is. But that's why you need to be smart emotionally. Don't let them take you off your game. Take notes. Mhm. That's the most important thing I can tell you when you deal with a narcissist, is to take as many notes as you can, um, about anything and everything, because it will save your life. And I'm telling you that right now. So take that as Rich Off Pain 101. That should be one of the main things you do, is always take notes when you're dealing with a narcissistic co-parent. Um, but honestly, the battle with a narcissist, and also just fighting with for custody, um 50-50 custody of my kids, it really took a toll on me and my family, mentally, emotionally, physically, as I said before, financially. But I refuse to let it stop me. What pushed me forward was the love I have for my children. I started to educate myself, reading books, watching videos, and learning everything I could about family court and father's rights. I learned how to present myself in front of a judge, because first impressions do matter to a judge. And I had to become my own advocate, and I did it for my kids. But I'm also doing it now for other people, because I think it's important that there's a lot of fathers out here that go through these struggles and don't do nothing about it. They don't know where to start. They don't have no support. And I want to be that for somebody today. Whether you watch this video right now that I'm doing it, whether you watch it recorded a day from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, I it is my vision to help men fight for the kids, get equal parenting, get them the education that they need, show them how to fill out paperwork, how to show up to court, what to bring to court when they want to fight for custody, or at least 50-50 custody. There's a lot to this game. And the faster you connect with people who have already gone through it or are very involved in it, you can't lose. Everything will be a small win, and small wins lead to big wins. So just remember that. But just know it's not going to be an easy road. And I learned how to basically just control everything that was going on around me negatively, and shifting it to a place of peace, knowing that, okay, this is what's going on. This is what needs to happen. How am I going to take care of this? And that's that. But it takes time. It's not an easy task as it sounds, right? Another thing is the power of support and knowledge. Besides educating myself, I was blessed to have the support of my family, my wife, church family, and friends. They always knew who I was, what kind of father I am, and their belief in me kept me going when I wanted to give up. And they seen me how I was with my kids. So it's not people that just met me yesterday. No, these are people that know me for years. People that know me in other relationships to always been a good person, always been there for my kids. And I've always talked about them, very proud of my kids, very involved father. So in everything, school, PTO meetings, sports, doctor's appointments, therapist appointments. I've done it all because that is my job as a father, is to be involved and to show my kids that fathers are involved. They are part of everyday life. They're not just a weekend or 4 hours a month, or for all those people to have those type of terms to see their kids, that's ridiculous. But that's why we got to work on these things now to make those changes, especially for our children, that are going to grow up one day and potentially go through the same thing if we don't make changes now. Um, my advice right now to any father out there going through the same struggle as this: ask for help. Don't be scared to ask for help. Ask questions, because if you don't ask no questions, you're never gonna learn nothing. It's like they say in the streets: scared money don't make no money, right? So if you scared, you never gonna do nothing because you're scared to make money. So it's the same thing with education. If you don't read a book, you don't ask questions, you ain't gonna learn nothing. You're gonna be stuck in the same position you've been their whole life. And then you're only gonna learn from the people that don't have no knowledge and what you're trying to accomplish. Excuse me. All right. Um, but yes, so definitely ask questions. Understand what you want as a father and what you're willing to do to get there. Never stop fighting for your kids, because they need you. Even when it feels the whole world is against you, you matter, especially to those kids. And that's why it's super important for you to fight for them. And some of the things that I want to rephrase on things that I spoke about, right, is like, I have two pictures in my phone, and maybe I'll show them in another video, maybe. But these pictures are of my kids, me and my kids, on the last day they were in my home as a unit with their mother. And in both of my pictures, I could see the emotion in my face. I could tell that I was crying, because at that moment in time, both of those times, I understood that my kids were leaving my home. Of course, lack of education was also a problem, because I could have kept my kids with me in my home, since I am the one who had the home. So, there's a lot that education can really do for you if you learn it from the beginning. And just to end it, you guys, this is my first video for Rich Off Pain. And I wanted to put a little bit out there of myself so you guys could be vulnerable with me, be honest with me. Tell me about your struggles, because everybody can learn off of everybody. And the one thing that you go through that changes your life might be the thing that might change somebody else's. So that's why it's very important to express yourself and get out here and subscribe and share this video with someone you think that might need my help. Somebody who might need somebody to talk to, or somebody that might need somewhere where they can post their story and be heard. Because that's all we need. We're men. We need to be heard. We need to be respected. But also we need to earn that too as well. And I think that by being a great father, we could make that happen. And by being great men, we could make that happen. By being great leaders, we could make that happen. But it all takes time. but you really have to want it to make it happen, just like being a father. So my closing message to everyone is, if you're a father that's been going through the struggle or you're going through it right now, leave a comment and share your story, because your voice matters. This podcast right here, Rich Off Pain, is about building a community where fathers support each other, learn from each other, and grow together as one. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast for future episodes where we talk about how to prepare for family court, co-parenting with a narcissist, and what fathers need to know to fight for their rights. Remember, through the pain, we gain knowledge, strength, and wisdom. That's what makes us rich off pain. So until next time, you guys, keep fighting, keep learning, and never stop being the father that your kids deserve. God bless y'all. Amen.